When it comes to scouting your wheat field, there are a lot of things you can do. Obviously, the whole key is just being out in the field more often. But we especially wanted to talk a little about tissue testing today, about diseases, maybe about some insects. So a number of things that you could be looking for right now in your wheat.
Let me start with the easy one here, insects. All throughout the season, as soon as that wheat is up, you need to be out there looking on a weekly basis for various insects that may be coming in. Now, if you hear about bugs in your area, certainly that prompts immediate scouting demand for you, but otherwise have a regular schedule where you're going through all your fields. Bring a sweep net with you and sweep as you're moving through that field just to see what you find. Oftentimes, if we're just looking, we don't always see the bugs that are out there. They're hanging on the plant very low, or they're on the underside of leaves, those kinds of things. But a sweep net can expose what's in the field. And then when you look at the treatment options this year, the insecticides have just come way down in price. And you may say, well, I'd like to wait a couple weeks because I'm going to try and time it with a fungicide application. You can't do that. When insecticides may cost as little as $2 an acre, if you've got some problem insects that are robbing yield, we can't afford to give up those bushels this year.
I mentioned diseases a little bit earlier and scouting for disease in your field. Here's one of the most common mistakes I see guys making all the time. They try to scout for disease. And you might say, well, wait a second, isn't that exactly what I'm supposed to do, is look and see if I have disease? No, it's not, because by the time you see disease, you've already missed out on a lot of your potential gains. Your yield has already been cut if you see disease, and I mean even an inkling of disease in your field. You're already too late. Here's my whole point. Fungicide prices have crashed. Okay, Darren talks about insecticide going down. Insecticide's been dirt cheap for 5 years. Fungicide prices, though, they have really come down in the last 3 years. So you can expect to pay half of what you did 3 years ago for a fungicide. And there are some fungicides that are now as low as $2, $3 an acre. It's so inexpensive. I just encourage you, automatically spray with herbicide and automatically spray at heading timing, because the heading application you can go for as little as $2 for a full rate of generic Folicure. And then the other timing you might consider is the one that's in between, right at flagleaf. Flagleaf timing, from what we have seen over the years, very often is the highest yielding treatment that there is. So in other words, I can spray at herbicide timing, I can spray at flagleaf, I can spray at heading, but boy, it's that flagleaf timing that in most cases, that's the one that pays you back the most.
Really quickly on the fungicides, coverage is critical. You have to cover the leaves in order to protect them, and that coverage is really only going to last for 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks. Also, new leaves that come out after you spray are not going to be protected. That's why we have to do multiple applications throughout the season.
Obviously, when you're walking through your fields, you need to look for weeds or any other issues that you have out there. But we would really encourage you, at least in a few spots on your farm, pull plant tissue samples. Pull them every Monday morning from a few spots. Take the same spot every single week. Do that over a period of about 8 weeks or so, and you'll learn an awful lot about your field and about your crop.
The other thing you want to watch for in terms of nutrients is nitrogen management. So make sure that when you're getting ready to put on that extra application or that last application of nitrogen, go out and do a soil test. It only costs about $5. Pull a soil test, see what you got for a nitrate level. We would suggest pulling a sample from 24 inches. That way you've got a good picture of what your root system can get to this year.
Well, again, when it comes to scouting, the key is be out in your field a lot and then take a real hard look at, hey, I know that the price of wheat is not real great, but I also know that the price of a lot of these inputs has come down so much. It's much easier to afford a lot of these things. It's much easier to see a lot of these things giving you a good ROI this year.
Well, if you see our Weed of the Week in your wheat field, you certainly have to get this one under control. It's a big yield robber. We'll show you how to stop it coming up next.